to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For the record, this is... Better? Okay. For the record, this is a public meeting of the Bayonne Board of Education. It is 7:14 p.m. It is the 27th day of October. Our meeting was changed from the 26th to the 27th due to the governor's order. We're convening in the Alexander O'Connor Auditorium. The presiding officer is Maria Vallado, president of the Bayonne Board of Education. Those in attendance include Mr. John J. Neese, superintendent of schools, Mr. Kenneth Kopaz, assistant superintendent for personnel, Ms. Jennifer Vecchiarelli, assistant superintendent for special services, Dr. Gary Maida, board secretary, Mr. Daniel Castle, school business administrator, Mr. Thomas Fagu Jr., our assistant school business administrator, Dr. Dennis Degnan, our assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction, and Mr. Philip Lamparello, our board counsel. The meeting's open to the public. I will take a roll call. Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Casillas?
Here.
Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky-Rodriguez?
Here.
Trustee Sclafane?
Here.
Trustee Watson?
Here.
Trustee Wilbeck is absent. Vice President Munoz?
Here.
President Vallado?
Here.
Mr. President, if you would read that.
For the record, adequate written advance notice of at least 48 hours giving the time, date, and location of this meeting was provided as follows. The notice was promptly posted at City Hall at 630 Avenue C on the bulletin board reserved for such announcements of the Board of Education. The board secretary sent notice to the Jersey Journal and Community News. Notice was also filed with the municipal clerk of the City of Bayonne, Ms. Medina.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start with our approval of the minutes, our acceptance of communications. I remind the public, all our resolutions are posted to the bulletin board. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Vice President Munoz, and a second?
I'll second.
And a second from Trustee Sclafane. On that motion and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Casillas?
Yes.
Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky-Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Sclafane?
Yes.
Trustee Watson?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck is absent. Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
President Vallado?
Yes.
Our curriculum and instruction resolutions A1 to A30. I'd like to point out, no, we're good there. Okay. I do have a question before I take a move in a second. I have a question from Diane Lonkley. Has a question on resolution A30.
It's not really a question, it's more of a statement.
A comment?
Good evening. It seems as if the Board of Ed plan for COVID is all over the place. There are different rules for each school. The nurse, along with the security guard, Tim Carey, who was nasty to me, by the way, after the superintendent was dismissive about my concerns regarding quarantine on my children, apparently don't understand the NJDOH rules. Why a security guard from the high school is calling me about my COVID concerns with my grammar school children is beyond me. Seeing that you appointed a Board of Ed Officer of Emergency Management, which we are spending over $70 grand for. 3 times my children were home in 3 weeks. Twice for quarantine, the other time was for allergies, which I chose to keep them home before I got that call again. The NJDOH guidelines state that if transmission is low, ill individuals without potential exposure to COVID-19 should follow the school exclusion list to determine when they go back to school. The last time I checked was this morning. There were 22 cases out of 65,000 people in this city. Sorry. I would consider that extremely low. Schools do have the ability to rapid test as per section 5.1 of the NJDOH guidelines. It states that the schools work with local health departments to identify rapid testing. The nurse at my children's school said that rapid testing is not acceptable when I tried to push for rapid testing inside the school so these kids wouldn't be getting sent home for every little thing. I asked the Bayonne OEM if they are handling the guidelines for the school, as there is a sheet of COVID guidelines on your website, which in turn, I was told to call Kenny Kopaz, which the last time I checked, he's assistant superintendent and he deals with personnel. Again, why do we have a Board of Ed OEM guy if no one from there calls you besides the security guard up here at the high school? My children did not receive the education they deserved last year. They struggled, especially my daughter who has special needs. This testing for every little thing is out of control, and you are not following the guidelines that everybody keeps spewing out of their mouths. To have the children, not just my own, constantly in and out on virtual due to allergies, common colds, side effects to medications is ludicrous. Then factor in the students like my daughter who do not adapt well to change due to disabilities. I think the entire school system, starting at the top, who you've already had over a year to get this right, need to redo something. You need to have it cohesive throughout every school where you accept rapid PCR tests, because these kids are going to be out more than they're in. Not everything is COVID. They're kids. We all have kids. They have allergies, they have reactions to medications, they have whatever. The wind blows, they get dust up their nose, they sneeze. Oh, you got 2 symptoms, here's a phone call, come pick your kid up. Most of us are working parents. I had a parent say that her daughter went to the school nurse in the high school for a cough drop. She was sent home, told to get a PCR test along with the brother who's in grammar school, and they were demanding a PCR test from the mother. Just reconsider. Common sense, people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so on our curriculum, do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Motion from trustee Costello, do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second from trustee Rodriguez on that motion, and second trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Todd,
Yes.
trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Gadesi Rodriguez,
Yes.
trustee Costello,
Yes.
trustee Watt,
Yes.
trustee Milback is absent. Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
President Scalise.
Yes.
On to Okay, next up is our Finance, Building, and Grounds. I'd like to make a note that Resolution B11 is being moved to non-consent. Before I do a motion on the resolutions, Mr. Woods, you have a question on B10 and B12?
Good evening, everyone. B10, I just had the question about the comprehensive maintenance plan for the district and which schools were going to be addressed for that comprehensive plan.
So the comprehensive maintenance plan and the M1 are annual report that is required by the Department of Education. In that report, it is mandated that we spell out the actual costs from the prior year, the budgeted costs for the current year, and the planned budget for the future years. In those, it's every school and it's general maintenance. It's required maintenance. So it's cleaning, painting, basic roof repair, those type of costs. So it's every school throughout the district.
We've talked about this before, about the need in the district, obviously, to take care of all those things, and we've been working pretty closely on it, so I appreciate that. And it kind of ties to B12, and, you know, the superintendent and I and all of us have talked about the need in the district for more schools, and I just want to say this out loud, and I'm pretty sure everybody's on board with this anyway, but our schools are becoming overcrowded. They have been for the last few years. We have 10,000 plus students in the district. And it's great, you know, we're getting St. Andrews. Obviously, Marist fell through for the 1,000 reasons that the district couldn't take care of there because, you know, that's out of our scope here. But our town does need to build more schools another big school. And since we have a lot of development in the town, I had talked about the possibility of maybe getting these developers together and let them finance and build one of the schools and, treat it like NASCAR, put their label all over it. But we need more schools in the district. I mean, you all know that. You walk the buildings, you see, and we're getting more. We're getting more students because people love our district. Our schools are great. Our teachers are awesome. So it's something that is necessary. So I appreciate that we're moving forward in some of that, but hopefully we can get more things built in the district. So, thank you.
Trying.
Thank you.
Okay, so do I have a motion on the finance resolutions? Trustee Watson?
Yes.
Motion by
I move.
Trustee Watson and a second
Yes.
by President Filato on that motion. And second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Sclafane?
Yes. Trustee
Watson?
Yes.
Trustee Wilback is absent. Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
And President Filato.
Yes.
Next up is our personnel. I'd like to make a note that Resolution C9 and C20 are being moved to non-consent. And do I have a motion?
I'll make that move.
Motion by Trustee Cassius
I'll second.
and a second by President Filato. On that motion and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Sclafane?
Yes.
Trustee Watson?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck is absent. Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
President Filato.
Yes.
Okay. And we'll turn to non-consent. We'll start with Resolution D1, which is personnel to attend a workshop. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that move.
Motion by Trustee Cassius and a second
I will second.
by Trustee Watson. On that motion and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Sclafane
Abstain.
is an abstain. Trustee Watson?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck is absent. Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
President Filato.
Yes.
Okay. Next up is D2, which has been added. Whereas the Board of Education conducted a hearing on October 13th, 2021, as to the administration's determination that a student engaged in conduct that fell within the definition of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. So on Resolution D2, do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by President Filato, and a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Watson. On that motion and second on Resolution D2, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky Rodriguez
Abstain.
is an abstain. Trustee Sclafane
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Watson
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Wilbeck is absent. Vice President Munoz
Abstain.
is an abstain. And President Filato.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Next up is Resolution B11, and this is approval of a proposed donation of a holiday tree. Is there a motion? Motion from Trustee Watson,
Yes.
and there's a second from President Filato.
I second.
Thank you. On that motion and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky Rodriguez
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Sclafane
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Watson?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck is absent. Vice President Munoz
Abstain.
is an abstention. And President Filato
Yes.
is a C20. C20 is personnel being assigned to tutoring of pre-K grades students. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that move.
I'll
Mo-
second.
Motion by Trustee Cassius and a second by President Filato. On that motion and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky Rodriguez
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Sclafane.
Abstain.
Trustee Watson.
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck is absent. Vice President Munoz.
Yes.
President Villado.
Yes.
My final resolution is our resolution for community ed. Is there a motion?
I'll make that move.
Motion by Trustee Cassius, a second
I'll second.
by Trustee Sclafane. On that motion and second, Trustee Berg is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky Rodriguez
Yes.
is a yes. Trustee Sclafane?
Yes.
Trustee Watson?
Yes.
Trustee Wilbeck is absent. Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
And President Villado
Abstain.
is an abstention. That is all the resolutions I have, but I do have a series of questions. How about our Board of Ed student representative, Alyssa Alhoshin? Alyssa, nice to welcome you again to the meeting.
Hi, it's good to see everyone again. The weather is changing, and so are things here at Bayonne High School. A couple things have happened since I last updated all of you. First, all members of the student body saw things get a little more interesting when filming started. That was definitely a bit of a shake-up, but a great excuse to be late to class. But in other, more professional news, I spoke about Spirit Week and the homecoming tailgate at the last meeting, and they were both a success since then. We had a lot of participation at Spirit Week, and the same can be said of the tailgate. We had a couple of cars pull up into the lot, and so many more students came with their friends to hang out before the game. A few of you actually stopped by, and it was really nice to involve all members of the community. The food was provided by the culinary students and Mr. Ariano, and it was delicious and a huge success with everyone. There was music, face painting, and even a performance from the marching band. It was really a group effort, and everything really turned out great. From what we heard at the General Assembly and, sort of through the grapevine, everyone had a great time, and this will definitely be a tradition in the coming years at Bayonne High School. So something I didn't mention last time I was here was the homecoming dance. It was a really big uncertainty for so long, but when we received the go-ahead, we had to hit the ground running to get everything done. It did, however, turn out incredible. Our theme was A Night Under the Stars, which was chosen after much heated deliberation. Our Instagram page advertised this and got really creative, just with, the style guides and sort of getting everyone excited and clued in about what the theme really was. So tickets sold out super fast, and at one point there was even a waiting list to buy a ticket. Everyone wanted to be there, and with that in mind, we had around 350 people in attendance. We of course made sure to implement all of the necessary COVID protocols. Masks were a requirement and were even offered to those that didn't have. Hand sanitizer was placed at every seat and table just in case anyone needed it. And actually, I'm glad to give some numbers. In just the past few months, we've generated over $6,000, which is crazy. And from there, we'll deduct some of the expenses, and the rest of which will be going towards charity. We were definitely kept busy, but it was all worth it because this year's dance actually turned out to be the most financially and socially successful homecoming dance ever. Reese and the rest of the executive board, they really stepped up to make our big return memorable for all students. For Halloween, nothing too crazy. We'll have a little more time to get things going on future events. But apart from that, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great Thanksgiving. See you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Carmela Scott.
Hello, hi.
Hello.
Good evening. My name is Carmela Scott, and I'm a senior here at BHS. And I am a trans queer minority here. And lately I've been uncomfortable with the development of Turning Point USA, chapter here in Bayonne. The values and morals of this organization are a direct attack against people like me and others in the school. The school is made up of gay, queer, trans, Black, Hispanic, Muslim, and many other people. So why do we as a school allow a debate club that is known for hatefully questioning the very existence of these ethnicities, religions, sexualities, and genders? Many students like myself have expressed our feelings towards Turning Point USA, especially going to school every day, knowing that some of our current and former classmates or against our rights are very damaging to us. Minorities already go through enough very difficult experiences, so making our lives harder and knowing that this club is in full effect and people are actively enrolled in it makes me and other students very uncomfortable. The LGBTQ Plus and Allies Club, which I am the president of, is a safe haven for many different students. A place for students, either a part or an ally of the LGBTQ Plus community, to express themselves free of judgment and bullying. The club is a critical part of our students' lives, though we do as best of us as a club try to make our members feel safe and welcomed in the school community, but allowing former students the opportunity to create Turning Point and allowing it to continue to this day leaves many of us feeling unsafe. Clubs like LGBTQ Plus and Allies and Young Black Excellence feel targeted by this hateful history of this organization. Bayonne prides itself on being a judgment-free zone with a zero tolerance policy, so why is a club founded by people who are known for targeting, bullying, harassing people who differ from them allowed to exist in a school where a majority of the students are minorities is confusing. Bayonne High School is a diverse school full of people with many different values, though I'm sure many people would find common value in a truly judgment-free school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Ms. Dina Lonke. Question on science fair.
Okay. I had my science fair project to bring in with you, but apparently it's considered a sign. Yeah, they wouldn't let me bring it in. Okay. So anyway, every year, every parent gets this invitation to the science fair. Okay? Every parent would like to, well, 95% of us, decline the invitation to the science fair. Most of the parents wind up doing the work. We all know this. We all have kids. You teach in schools. You can tell what parents do it and what parents don't. It should be an optional thing. It shouldn't be forced on these kids. It shouldn't be forced on the parents. It causes nothing but turmoil in the household. If you want to do this and make it mandatory for the kids, have them do it during school. Why does it have to come home with them? Because it's going to wind up disrupting whatever the teacher's already teaching, so they can't meet the criteria of what they have to teach. At home, it's screaming, it's yelling. You've all been through this plenty of times. I got 4 kids. We're on, 8 projects so far? It's absolutely ludicrous to keep doing this to all these families. Make it optional. That kid who really likes science, let them do it. Let them have at it. But there's kids who aren't into it, and it causes nothing but a fight. It causes extra money out of the parents' pockets. You're all the time arguing with people. I know all of you read Concerned Parents. You can see how many people, just compared to last year, when it was brought up about canceling the science fair. It honestly should be optional. Not everybody's into science. And you can't do it in school, even though I think you should, because it takes away from a lot of family time. These kids are in sports. You go places on the weekends, this and that, and you're doing 20 plus hours of fighting with your kid, trying to find a project that someone hasn't done, or your parent or whoever is trying to buy a project off of somebody else, or, hey, let me borrow this project because we did this and you did this. The kids don't do this. The parents do this. And it honestly should be made optional for those kids who actually like science. And thank you for the people who got rid of it last year. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Miss Jessica Longo-Bizzardi. Sorry about that.
Hello, I'm sure many of you have seen me already, but my name is Jessica. I have just 2 quick things. First thing, remember when the whole COVID thing was going on and we were like, what are we gonna do about the bridge? And then we put like the little barrier on it? Can we please have a guard, somebody standing at that barrier? Because those kids do not like listen to that barrier, and like I walk there every morning. First period all the way to house 6, like from house 3 to house 6, it's a mess. I'm like very tired of being pushed around. Kids are like walking in my aisle, like I'm supposed to be going this way, you're supposed to be going this way, why are you coming this way? I can't stand it. I'm so sorry, all the kids are definitely gonna hate me for saying this, but I can't deal with it. That's the first thing, like please, I beg, I'm on my knees. Second thing, I just wanna say, TPUSA at Bayonne High School does not encourage any hate. I promise you that. If I really recommend anybody, even teachers, we've had a couple teachers stop by, please come to one of our meetings. I beg, it's literally, like last time we just talked about like inflation and COVID, like I promise you, and like there are members of the LGBTQ community in TPUSA. And I'm a supporter of the LGBTQ plus community. We allow differing opinions at the club. This isn't a speech like officially from TPUSA, this is just me giving my experience as a student. But I really just recommend coming and visiting the club. And that's all I wanted to say. But please, the bridge, I beg, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Zaria Keith.
Really quickly, I just want to say my name is Zaria, so that's it. Good evening, my name is Zaria Keith. I am a senior here at Bayonne High School. As a student, I make it a point to stay active and up to date with the clubs and activities happening within the school. One particular club that has come to my attention is Turning Point USA. At first glance, I and many others thought nothing of the group, as it is portrayed as a debate club, which is something I fully support and even considered joining. With further research and understanding, I learned that it was not what I believed it to be at all. Learning that the national chapter of Turning Point has ties to alt-right and white supremacist groups is quite alarming to me and other students of color. White supremacy is defined as the belief that white people constitute a superior race and should therefore dominate society, typically to the exclusion or detriment of other racial and ethnic groups, in particular Black or Jewish people. Being that I am a student of color, the name Turning Point can be seen as threatening to me and my fellow peers. With this in mind, I think it would be beneficial for the board, school administrators, and all those attending this meeting to understand that students of color already feel a sense of unspoken unease throughout their school career. I personally have dealt with a teacher that was blatantly racist towards me and refused to see the error in what she said. Students of color have to deal with microaggressions, homophobia, racism, and just plain disrespect towards them on a day-to-day basis. This goes unnoticed by fellow teachers and students alike. These instances are sometimes overlooked or considered to be an overreaction on the part of the student. But I believe that this is one of those times that students are allowed to be upset and should speak out. This is immensely uncomfortable and is causing students of color to feel as though their fellow classmates could feel a sense of superiority over them just because of their skin or the horrific stereotypes that plague a community. I do not blame any of these strong feelings on any of the students that participate in this club, but it would not be fair to them if they did not know the effects their affiliation with this organization has on their classmates. We as a community should work as a team to make this school a safe environment for everyone, and we should start by being considerate to every student's feelings. This is no malicious intent towards anyone that believes this is a club that should be allowed to continue on the way that it is, but I do wish that you would all try to understand the effects these types of things have on the environment within the school. This is a place meant to be a safe haven for those seeking refuge from the outside world, and if that is not obtainable for every person that comes in here, then I believe that we are failing my classmates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Mr. Mark Basta.
Good evening to the board, Madam President, and to all of the Bayonne community and parents. My name is Mark Basta, and I am a senior from BHS and an actively participating student at the BHS community. Today, I woke up earlier than usual, got to school at 7:35 a.m., and set up for our breast cancer bake sale for zero period. This bake sale will also run tomorrow and on Friday. On Friday the 29th, I will also wear pink for the Pink Out Day in support of all breast cancer fighters. By the end of the month, my board and I will schedule the rest of the fundraisers for the year. But I believe I forgot to mention that all these events are planned and sponsored by Turning Point USA at BHS. and that I am the president of this chapter. If your action has changed after naming the sponsor of the events, this is a huge problem that deserves probably me coming here and speaking before you today. And perhaps the two most intriguing questions our members and our board have is how and why. Why do our name pull down your faces? And why do our own educators come out here and call that we are an unfit group at BHS that follows a racist, neo-Nazi, and terrorist organization? I find absolutely no reason for this. And by the way, I am a person of color, I am not white, and I see none of these worries. The next question is how? How do we not meet the standards of a BHS extracurricular activity? How can they give speeches of critique on our activities when I saw none of them in a single meeting or event of ours? I also find no answer to these questions. I'd like to think that I have been given some sense of judgment, and I can therefore confidently say that our chapter works under Turning Point USA, a leading organization in political activism for youth. And this is unlike the unsupported ledges that were mentioned before. Turning Point USA BHS is a registered BHS club that works on growing the students' sense of political and civic engagement, which falls under the school's vision. And if anything, our educators need to learn how to respect the administration's decision in approving this club and to respect opposing opinions. If they have any more concerns, our meetings are always announced in the morning and all are welcome to attend. My question for you today, does TPUSA have the board support? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our final speaker, Mr. Woods. You're good? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Vice President Munoz. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by President Filato. On that motion and second, Trustee Burke is absent. Trustee Cassius?
Yes.
Trustee Egan is absent. Trustee Godesky Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Saflane?
Yes.
Trustee Watson?
Yes, yes.
Trustee Wilbeck is absent. Vice President Munoz?
Yes.
President Filato?
Yes.
It is 7:46. The board will not return. Thank you.